Since the horrific October the 7th attacks on Israel, the message from British police has been clear. Don't be Jewish. The so-called peace marches, in which horrific anti-Semitic slogans have been chanted and waved within impunity for months, including a projection of From the River to the Sea on Big Ben, have led to a huge rise in anti-Semitism, with Jewish kids covering up any religious clothing when travelling to school. Now, taking sides on the conflict in the Middle East is a mug's game, and clearly the situation is complex, with wrongdoing on both sides. But these marches, which have made Jews feel unwelcome and threatened in their own country, began after an attack on Jewish people and on Israel, not the other way round. Many on those marches march in peace. They want an end to the killing. Who doesn't? Have Israel gone too far in their desire to wipe out Hamas? Who knows? But British police officers are unwittingly taking sides by bowing to the mob, extremists who, at least passively and in some cases very actively, are beating the drum for Hamas. At worst, they're supporters, and at best, they are the useful idiots of this hateful death cult. Which is why it was so disturbing to watch this sequence in which a British policeman threatens to arrest a man seeking to cross the road because he effectively looks too Jewish. Take a listen.
You are quite openly Jewish. This is a pro-Palestinian march. Right. I'm not accusing you of anything, but I'm worried about the reaction to your presence. You choose to remain here because you are called the British
If I remain here, you will arrest me.
Because your presence here is antagonising a large group of people and we can't deal with all of them.
Wow. This follows a bizarre incident some weeks ago in which another hapless cop debated with a Jewish woman about whether the swastika was an image of hate. Not for the first time, the police have placated and appeased illiberal thugs, bowing to aggression and indulging in misguided political correctness with a partisan approach to these marches, and allowing a scenario in which somebody who is visibly Jewish is characterised as a troublemaker. Throughout history, Jewish people have always been the canary in the coal mine of any society. If Jewish people aren't safe in Britain, we're not a proper country anymore. The extremist mob, too many of whom are infused with an anti-Western ideology that hates everything about this country, won't stop at Jews. They will ultimately be at odds with anyone that believes in British values. Don't forget Sir Keir Starmer reportedly begging the Speaker of the House to cancel a vote on an Israeli ceasefire for fear of the safety of his own MPs if they voted against. Welcome to the mob, who are shaping democratic outcomes via the threat of violence. Now, I love our police officers. They do a hard job and are underpaid and underappreciated. We have got great coppers. But the current culture of policing in Britain is all wrong. So caught up in woke ideology, they turn up at people's houses to investigate an unkind Facebook message or a tweet. They drive around in expensively painted rainbow cars. They remove lesbians from a pride march for the heinous crime of believing there are two sexes. They dance with eco-protesters and ask people who have glued themselves to the motorway if they're all right and if they'd like a sandwich or a drink. And they always take the knee to the latest woke cause, even if it's misguided, divisive and wrong. Meanwhile, they banged up anyone that dared to demonstrate against those ruinous and, in my view, utterly failed lockdowns. Dozy cops sat there at a bizarre kangaroo court in Wakefield as an autistic child was harangued by raging clerics for accidentally scuffing a copy of the Quran. And where was the police protection for a Batley schoolteacher who is still on the run for showing pupils an image of the Prophet Muhammad in class? It's time for officers to police the rule of law and to police British values. Because on their watch, free speech is no longer safe. Jews are no longer safe. Our democracy is no longer safe. The streets of Britain are no longer safe. As it stands, British policing isn't much cop.